All right, let's talk about Logan Sargeant. Yeah. Now, I've been singing this guy's praises for, call it, I want to say 8 months ish now. And I will say this. I will say this. When he was announced for the Williams Driver Academy, I was salty because they had just sacked Dan Ticktum, and I thought Dan Ticktum could have been a great Formula One driver, right? And I was kind of iffy on the guy, and then I started watching him in F2, and I was saying, all right, he's doing quite well for himself. He's out qualifying Lawson. He's holding his own in races. And then I saw his F3 season in 2020 against Piastri and Porsche. I realized he almost won the championship, and I realized that this guy's pretty good. And it was very difficult. It was very difficult during pre-season and even last season when there were heavy rumors that he was going to be the one to replace Latifi. There were so many people just going at his junior career and saying, how is this guy supposed to be worthy for F1? He hasn't even done anything. He hasn't won anything. I'm like, and that's the basis of today's Unscripted, because we really need to reach a point where people just understand and accept that you cannot judge a young driver purely off of their junior stats. And there will come a day where I do a proper in-depth video on this. But for now, I just want to use Sargeant as an example because he completely exceeded expectations, right? Everyone was expecting him to be the worst of the three rookies performance-wise because he was driving a Williams, because they had never seen him in an F1 car, because he didn't have any junior series championships. And look what he did in Bahrain. Completely clean weekend. I don't think he made a single error. Maybe a couple lockups or something, but like, as it regards a weekend of F1, he did brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly. Qualifying, almost making Q2. He only qualified a spot behind Albon when all was said and done. And he only finished 2 spots behind him at the end. He was within 10 seconds of Albon when the checkered flag waved. And did you see his start? Did you see his start? Beautiful racecraft, beautiful wheel-to-wheel, no idiotic dives. Timid, he was cautious, but still sensible in his movement. And if you are a Logan Sargeant fan, or somebody that has followed Logan Sargeant, this shouldn't have even surprised you, because Sargeant does not have a history of being reckless in his junior career. He's been a clean driver his whole career. And it's insane when you look at the hype that a guy like Piastri got, even before the whole tweet about Alpine. It's insane when you look at the hype a guy like Piastri got for winning the 3 junior championships in a row. Right? I think it was Formula Renault, F3, F2. And Sargeant gets completely dunked on for his junior career when you realize that he almost won Formula 3 the year Piastri did. He was leading the championship going into the last round, and he was taken out. And he gets P3 he doesn't even get P2, he gets P3 in the championship. And that, him not winning the F3 championship completely derailed things for him. He had to build his career back. He had to go to Charouz and build his career back. He carried that team on his back in 2021. He got the Williams Academy seat, he got the Carlin drive, and he made the most of it. He won Silverstone, and once they announced that they were getting rid of Latifi rather, all Sargeant needed to do was get a super license. And once he realized that, he just took it easy for the rest of the F2 season. There was no need to throw caution to the wind, especially knowing how chaotic F2 is on a normal day. There was no reason to throw caution to the wind. All he had to do was just get decent points finishes. Just make sure you scored enough, because he didn't even have to finish that high, right? And here we are, people still doing this junior career judging thing, and it will never ever make sense to me, man. This is a perfect lesson for people that if you want to judge a driver, if you want to judge a junior career, you have to do it off of the eye test. You cannot just look at stats and jump to conclusions, There are many out of context stats in junior series, and there will forever be out of context stats. Out of context. So many out of context stats in junior series. Look at Iwasa last year. Iwasa didn't finish top 3 in the championship. Right? He doesn't have a super license. He has not many super license points as is. He'll probably get one at the end of the year if he has a good season. But he would have already had one last season if he didn't get disqualified in Monza. Stuff like that I'm talking about. Yeah? And I guess the question now is what does Sargeant do from here? I guess if he just keeps putting together weekends like that, he's gonna be a mainstay in the sport. Yeah? He's going to be a mainstay in the sport. And I'm quite excited. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because I remember Yuki Tsunoda having a very good F1 debut and then not really doing much after. Joe did the same. He had a good Bahrain last season. And he didn't even score double-digit points last year. So there could be a chance we are overhyping him. But from what I've seen this weekend, I think Sargeant has done more than enough to prove to everybody that he deserves this seat and that Williams were right for choosing him. Yeah? That's all I have to say. That's an unscripted. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, I guess, if you haven't already. Yeah, that's it. We're out, man.